What's good, y'all? It's your girl Zaria Alexia, and welcome back to my gaming channel. If you are new here, hi, my name is Zaria. I go by Zaria Alexia on all my social media platforms, and this is my gaming and reaction channels where I do gaming and reactions. So today we are going to be watching Daycare Stories. It's an animated story by Let Me Explain Studios. So I should be able to relate to this because I've worked in childcare since I was about 17, really maybe 16 years old. And I still actively work in childcare today, even though I am pursuing content creation. So I'm excited to see what this is all going to entail, because when I be telling people stories of places that I done worked and things I done seen, they don't be believing me, bro. So I can only imagine, I can only fathom this. Shameless plug, if you want to see some more stories from me personally, go on my TikTok. On my TikTok, I be dropping all the story times, bro. Especially on live. Hey, Mari. All right, let's get into it.
Oh, hello, my geeks and peeps, my explainers and entertainers, my little oodle-lollies. Rebecca Parham here. So,
hey, Rebecca.
Did you know I was
she
a
got the
daycare
tea?
kid?
Man, I done drunk all my water. She got the tea ready. This I know this
Probably
gonna be a good
not, because
story.
I've never mentioned it before. Makes sense, given that Mom and Dad were both working parents, and leaving one's infant at home alone is generally considered problematic. Now, I know it might be hard to believe, but I haven't always been the...
Girl, I'm an esthetician too. Shameless plug. Come get a wax.
pinnacle of refinement and maturity that you see before you today. No. As a kid, I was a bit of a rascal. For example, the box story. Now at this daycare we had a big playroom, and in this playroom there was a dark little alcove where custodial stuff and equipment was kept all the time, and one morning during playtime I noticed someone had left a large box there. Big enough for a child to hide behind. Now there's a concept that I call kid logic, and it's basically just a name for that randomness that kids possess, or the absurdity that is their reasoning sometimes. For example, when I saw that box, that's when my kid logic kicked in, and I said, I'm gonna hide behind that box for as long as possible and see what happens. This is a great idea. So when the adults weren't looking, I slunk behind the box and crouched down, hiding myself entirely. I must have stayed there for half an hour before playtime ended, and they ushered all the kids away to a different room for a new activity. And funny enough, the adults were none the wiser I was gone. I've beat the system. Now this is what gets me. It took an hour of me hiding before an adult came back to the room and visibly began looking around for something. Couldn't imagine what it might be. Now where did I leave that small child? Must be around here someplace. I peeked my head up over the edge of the box to watch, but that proved to be my undoing. I was spotted. I've been compromised. I got in big trouble for that, of course. I was clearly not good at getting away with things when I was a kid, as you'll see in the next story. Now, one time at this daycare...
So, I was mistaken. I thought this was going to be daycare stories from a child care worker. Because the stuff that we've done, bro, the things that I have witnessed from other staff, parents, children, field trips. You wouldn't believe it, bro. You wouldn't believe it. Alright. Anywho, let's get into the rest of this, bro. Because, I don't know. I'm seeing hearts. I don't know if somebody's liking it. If you are, thank you so much.
They brought in a whiteboard, and you were only allowed to draw on it with adult supervision. Okay, I won't draw on the board. Instead, I stole a green dry erase marker when no one was looking and proceeded to decorate.
And the thing is, I'm irritated, but I'm not surprised. Thank you, Mari. I'm irritated, but I'm not surprised. I had one child specifically at a child care facility I worked at not too long ago. Every single time this child had an opportunity to put crayon, pencil, marker, paint, it didn't matter. bro. Anything that could color your face a different color. That child was going to put it on anything other than the construction paper you gave them, the craft that you gave them. I will never forget, we was doing finger painting. I said it goes on your hands, on the paper. I had a huge sheet of paper out on the table. I look up, I see the child doing this. Fully cognizant, by the way. Fully aware of what I just said. I said, why'd you put it on your face? I don't know.
Rate my face. Hey, listen, I didn't break the rules. They specifically said don't draw on the board. They said nothing about my face. I put the marker back and walked away, but was promptly spotted by an adult. Becca, did you do this to yourself?
No.
I'm getting triggered.
Did somebody do this to you?
Yes.
Who did it? Well, sheesh, I hadn't thought I had that far. And I honestly didn't even think to blame another kid. Instead, that good old kid logic kicked in, and I came up with the most foolproof story that was sure to get my hide out of trouble.
I was minding my own business looking for something to play with, and then the markers came over and marked on my face. Nailed it.
I will never understand how that daycare worker kept a straight face, but off to timeout I went.
So, what are you in for? Disrupting
Bye.
the status quo? Whoa. I stuck gum up my nose.
Something I had.
Once again, not surprised. I don't know what be going through kids' brains, bro. The thing about childcare is like, you 9 times out of 10, you're protecting the child from themselves. You're not even protecting the kids from other kids, from strangers, hurt, harm, or danger. 9 times out of 10, you're protecting that child from doing something crazy to themselves. I don't get it, bro.
Haven't mentioned yet is that my sister Rachel also went to this daycare, and because she's 2 years older than me, she got to be in the big kids program called the Superstars.
Okay,
and I was so jealous that I
Superstars.
took to calling them the Stupid Stars.
She kind of ate.
Extra crispy on that burn there, little Becca. But one thing that will always be a significant memory to me is the day I discovered that the Superstars had a Nintendo.
Okay.
Better yet,
shout out to all the girlies that had a Nintendo. You know what's up. You know what's up. You know what's up. Yes, this is a Nintendo DSi. Pink. Real ones. Real recognized real.
they had Super
And it had Mario, bro.
Mario Brothers. And that, my little oodle-ollies, was the first time I ever saw a console video game. I thought I was looking at magic. And that became the only thing I ever wanted to do at playtime, was go over to the big kid area and watch them
Okay.
play Super Mario Brothers. Don't you dare tell me that gamers aren't real entertainers. I was watching people play video games long before the Appliers and
Hello.
Decepticons and D-Pies of the world made it a thing.
That's funny.
But when playtime was over, the daycare staff had to pry me away, kicking and screaming from that TV set.
Kicking and
One
screaming
day,
is
however, I came up with a brilliant idea. When they pulled me away from the big kids' corner and sat me down with the other little kids, I proceeded to scream and cry that I miss my big sister, and nothing was gonna console me except being allowed to be with her in the big kid area. I guess the adults didn't know what else to do, so they actually let me go back over.
Holy Crayola, that actually worked.
Sure enough, I made a beeline for the Nintendo. Screw you, sis, I got video games to observe. It didn't take long
Wow.
for an adult to catch on, and I was eventually pulled away again. When I tried the same shtick, they gently said, "Becca, you say you miss your sister, but every time you go over there, you just watch them play video games." Okay, maybe they had me there. Not gonna lie, that's a pretty solid accusation.
Alright, grown up, I'll concede to you this time. But one day I'll be grown up, and I'll watch all the video games I want.
Don't you mean play them?
No.
Now I've saved the best story for last. Even when I started kindergarten, there was no escaping this daycare. because one of the services they provided was picking up children from my elementary school and taking them back to the daycare where the parents could pick them up later. So every day I didn't get picked up by a parent or get on a normal yellow school bus, I waited for a big white van. That sounds rather nefarious now that I say it out loud. But yeah, Rachel and I would wait for the van, pile in with the other kids.
But that's like a pretty popular thing now. Like carpooling services for certain areas, because there's a deficiency in, or at least in the area I live in, there's a shortage of bus drivers. Like, a lot of people aren't pursuing jobs like that anymore, because they either don't pay enough or they require certain licensing that people don't have. So when I was working in childcare, we saw a lot more white vans than we ever did school buses, bro.
And go wait to get picked up at the daycare. And this was a routine my kindergarten teacher knew. She was a very good teacher and kept track of the way each of her students were supposed to go home. So she would make sure I got in that van.
The lashes are fire.
Well, I was getting a little bored of the routine.
That's super cute.
And here's good old kid logic again, because many of my classmates would get to walk home. And for some reason, I decided that was the cool thing to do. I aspired to walk home. But that...
Why? Well, I'm not gonna lie, I used to walk home from school and it was fire. So actually, I can see why.
Wasn't gonna happen with Miss Responsibility Pants botching my whole operation. So like the little devil I was, I waited until we had a substitute teacher. Alright, here's your evil genius learner's permit, kiddo. When school ended that day, instead of getting into the daycare van, I hid behind a brick pillar and waited for the van to leave without me. Funny how my sister never said anything. She must have been like, alright, I guess she died. As soon as the van left, I headed off on foot. My house was within walking distance, only about a mile away, but I began to think as I walked that no one was actually going to be at the house, and I had no way of getting inside. Probably should have thought of that before. So instead of walking home, I made the executive decision to walk to the daycare instead. Now, I knew what I was doing was against the rules, because every single time I saw a white vehicle of any sort coming in the distance, I would duck behind a tree or bush as fast as I could. When I was so close that I could see the daycare up ahead, I noticed what was most definitely a white van approaching, and the only tree immediately available was thinner than me. So not only was this tree already insufficient at hiding me, but when I jumped behind it, I didn't think to put the tree between me and the line of sight of the van. So when the daycare staff approached, this is what they saw.
Now, what sense do that make, Rebecca?
I'm revoking that evil genius learner's permit. They stopped the van, made me get inside, and guess who I found in the back seat? The snitch that ratted me out. My own.
As a big sister here, I will proudly and gladly say I absolutely was a snitch growing up. Because as the oldest sibling, y'all know it's a rule. I don't know if this is for all households, but I know for my household, it was like, you're the oldest, so you're in charge when I'm not here. So if they do something, you getting in trouble too, because why you let them do it? So I absolutely was snitching because I was not getting in trouble because other people didn't want to listen. Sorry.
Sister! How could you? We were brothers, you and I. Wait.
And that is just a handful of examples of what a little monster I was. I talked to my sister about this script and she came up with even more stories about this daycare, so if you guys like this video, then maybe there'll be another one in the future. Who knows? Alright, have fun out there, oodalollies, and avoid white vans. Thank you so much for tuning in, but now I gotta tune out. Bye!
Bye! So, alright y'all, that was the end of that video of daycare stories. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the post notification bell so you always know when I'm uploading new videos. And remember that I love you, but more importantly, God loves you, and y'all be blessed.
Jesus got me, I stay winning. Say I stay winning.